With just over 40 days left to have this car ready for the track, things are getting serious here at Dickey's Garage. Real serious. Welcome back to the garage, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We are finally at that point. We are assembling big blocks. I've still got big blocks sitting everywhere. I got a pile of parts over here. I've thinned the herd a little bit. I got my C6 there that's gonna go back on it shortly. There's the heads I have prepped to go back on it. And the engine we were building is actually the engine that was in it originally. I've gone through all these cylinders. I've checked them, I rolled it around. There's scoring there, but that's the same scoring that was there last time I saw it. So I don't think we have any kind of issues with the rotating assembly. The cam, on the other hand, definitely had some lobes getting worn down. It was just a bad idea the way I set this thing up before. So I've got a plan to break this in a little differently this time. I'm gonna save that for the next video. But right now I've got everything laid out and I think I'm ready to start building this engine. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna start with building this engine back is the camshaft. Now this camshaft is the same cam I ran last time. It's a 34-600-5. It's part of their Thumper series cams of comp cams. It's a great cam. I like the way it sounds. The whole thing with it wearing out last time was completely my fault, so nothing wrong here. But this time I am gonna use the supplied break-in lube. It may be a little better than what I used last time. Now I know there's special tools to get this cam installed, but I've always had pretty good luck just taking the cam bolt, sticking it back in there a little bit, and fishing this bad boy in the hole. You just want to be careful as you can be, not to purposely damage the bearings. Looks like we've got it installed. It feels nice and smooth. I've got her lubed up pretty good. I think that's going to be all right. So now that I've got the camshaft installed and the camshaft thrust plate installed, I'm going to put on the timing set. And for those of you that don't remember, a little while back, I took SVT Kevin's gear drive out of his truck. Well, you didn't just think I was going to throw that away, did you? So we're going to run this gear drive setup on here. I'm going to spend a little bit of time with it just to make sure I put it on correctly. And there's no binding issues, because I'm pretty sure it was binding on his truck a little bit, but I'll sort that out now. So some of you guys may remember, we took the gear drive out of SVT Kevin's truck because it was binding a bit. And we also found that the thrust plate was broken into pieces. I never really did figure out what caused this until now. Now the backside of this gear drive has a large snout that actually goes into that thrust plate a bit. And as you can see here on the edge of this, it was wearing the inner radius pretty heavily. So what I didn't realize at first is these holes are a little bit large. In fact, they're large enough to make that thrust plate adjustable. So once I installed this one, I found it was binding about every quarter turn. So I stuck a wrench back here, loosened up both those bolts, tightened them right back down, and this thing is super smooth, just like it ought to be. So with the timing chain all sorted out, we were able to get the timing cover and the water pump back on there. We're gonna flip this puppy over and go ahead and get the oil pan installed, and then come back around again to do the heads. I know this oil pan looks bad, but it doesn't leak, so I'm not gonna tempt fate and do anything crazy like cleaning it or painting it. I'm gonna leave it just like it is. Let's turn this puppy back over. So now that we got it flipped back over, I've got the studs installed, gaskets laid in, and I've already fitted one of the heads. It looks like these studs are gonna work perfect. So finally something aftermarket fits an EFI big block. That's awesome. I'm gonna put the part number to these guys in the description below for you. I'm gonna go ahead and get this head on right now though, and see where we stand with things. So now that we're using head studs, my torque specs for my head bolts or studs changes a bit. I did a little bit of research. Everybody has their own opinion about what to do. You know, oil the bolts, torque it to this, torque it to that. This engine's not gonna run that long, so I don't think I'm all that worried about it. Feels about right. Oh yeah. When your engine's gonna run for hours and not miles, that's the way to do it. I guess it's time for lifters and push rods and rockers. Oh my. So with the heads installed, we're almost ready for the intake, but there is one little detail we don't want to forget, and that's the lifters. What I'm gonna do now is drop all these lifters in with some of that Conk Cam's break-in lube and throw some push rods in, maybe some rockers, and put that intake on. All right, so we've got lifters, push rods, and rocker arms installed. These are non-adjustable, so it's super easy. You just hammer them down, you're done. So what I want to do now is rotate this thing around a little bit. Make sure that I don't have any kind of coil spring bind. You know, we are using some racing springs here on this race engine, so 2 full rotations should bring this thing back around the top dead center. Firing cylinder 1. Tell me if you feel pressure though.
Yeah, coming up.
Oh, you're making it hard on me. Let it out. Oh, that was it. So that's firing cylinder 1. Cool. At this point, I've got the intake on. I put the old valve covers back on. I've even got the carburetor and the adapter mounted up. So I guess there's really not much left to do here other than prime the oil system and give this thing a test fire. But I did have to do one more thing, and that's give it a name. So we're a whole lot closer than we were, but we got a little bit more work to do yet. But I'm gonna end this video off right there, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.